Okay, let's close this. Let's run with this. Okay, and Olivia, you're taking charge of all the messaging for me, right?
Yeah.
We're still running, right?
Yeah.
I didn't cancel anything? Okay, good. Okay, so to start out, what we're going to use a site called launch.joomla.org. Just everyone can visit that site. Even if you built the site before, it may be fun for you to just try to see how this works. This is a great way for you to teach new users to use it. But what I ask, though, is when you put in the site name, when you go to advanced settings, if you can please select cloud-based 3 as your template. So those of you that are more seasoned, if you don't select cloud-based 3, you then can install it later on. So these 3 websites are 100% customizable. You have access to a cPanel, if you know what that means. So you have all the hosting techniques. It's 100% free. You do have to renew it, though, each month. So what that means, you have to sign in, and I think through Cloud Access, you can say, yes, I want to renew. But you can keep it forever. The domain, though, has to be whatever the domain is. I think it's .joomla.com is what the domain has to be. You could then either pay for the site through cloudaccess.net. So cloudaccess.net, they're the hosting company that's providing the service. So you could pay a fee to them if you want it to be your own domain name, like hellolaura.com or whatever you want it to be. Or because you have full cPanel access, you could go to siteground.com, or I don't like using GoDaddy, so I wouldn't even recommend that, but you could go to other hosting providers and say, here's my cPanel, can you transfer the site over for me? And I know SiteGround will do it for free. So the definition of what is the hosting? The hosting is where your site is sitting. So you need a place for the site to live. That's what the hosting is. The domain name is how you get to the site, so that's your address. So a domain name you can purchase through GoDaddy or SiteGround and all of the above. You need a place to host it. So if you can all fill this out, you will then get an email. So if you can open up your email, and you should see in here, and then we can do this together. Has everyone at least hit launch that wants to hit launch? You guys did, right? And Dan, you did already, right? Yes. Okay. So now if you go to your email, you should be able to see. And Olivier, I'm sharing the screen properly, right? Okay. You're going to be my audience.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So I can see here in my email that I got, the name that I called my site, the Joomla Camp NY 2019.joomla.com/administrator. So that's where I'll go to see my website. My username is this. My password is that. And you can change it later on. But for right now, what you want to do is you want to open this up in a separate tab. Hello, how are you? Welcome. Olivia's going to check you in. I'm just starting the intro class. So welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys. Okay, so if you open up your administrator window, okay, so the URL at the very top is where you put in, like mine is joomlacampny2019.joomla.com/administrator, and then you should have a user panel right here, your login. Does everyone have a login? Not yet. Okay, I'll wait. So my goal is to get everyone here so we can log into the back end and then I can take you through. How are you, Mark? Good to see you. We're in Greece right now. Someone in Greece is watching us. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Greece. So now I'm going to go back to my email and I'm going to copy this stuff into that user panel. So I'm going to do it right now and then I'm just going to walk around and see where we're at. And I know this will take a few minutes just to get us situated. And then I click log in, and magically I should log in. And then I'm going to wait for everybody. If you don't, do you guys have this? I mean, email's not going to do it. Yeah, no, they were supposed to let you in. I'm sorry. Okay, here. This is for you. Who else needs what? Okay. Okay, right here, if you go to page 3, so the way I like to teach is I don't like to teach necessarily page by page, but every so often I'll say we're on page 3, just so you can kind of, I'm like a visual learner, I need to do both at the same time. So I take you to launch.joomla.org, a little headline about Joomla, and then where you can get additional documentation. So now, has anyone logged in? You able to log in?
Yes.
Yes? You're good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Are you guys able to log in? Okay, good, good, beautiful. Okay. If during this intro you're not where you're supposed to be, or at least you're unsure, raise your hand. If you don't care that you're not where you're supposed to be, don't raise your hand. It doesn't matter to me. Again, I usually learn by going to different pages than what the instructor is telling me to do. I'm not a very good student with that. So basically, what is Joomla? So Joomla is a content management system, and what that means is that the programs or the applications for Joomla is separate from your content or your actual wording that's on the website. So what that means is that you can hire a developer to do all the hard work, and then you as the content owner, such as the store owner, the librarian, the dance instructor, all they have to do is type in the words, which is nice. So that way they can manage their own website themselves without having to be a developer. So this class is kind of to show you how you can help people like that manage their sites, if they already have a Joomla site or you can build it from scratch. So that's kind of a thing about Joomla. If you want training, additional training, if you go to community.joomla.org/joomla-training.html, Steve Burge created a lot of online little courses that you can take, and the book that Robin had, the Joomla Explained, which is a great book. If you want to buy it, they have it on Amazon. I think I also have a PDF version that I'll be able to send to the attendees here as well. So I highly recommend it for training, and there's also user groups too. So if you go to page 4, what I want you to do for this class is we want to have 2 browsers open at the same time. So if you can open up a second browser tab, so you have the admin, which is the back end. So this is what I call back end. When I say to go to the back end, this is what I'm talking about. When I say to go to the front end, there's 2 ways you can go there. You can click on where it says, see where it says Cloud-Based 3 on the top right? All the way up there. I can click on that, and here's my website. Just going to wait a second. Ta-da. Okay, look, this is the website we just built. The URL for this is, for me, it's joomlacampny2019.joomla.com. For yours, it'll be different. So everyone should have the website look like that. A little bit, yes? Think you're good? Dan, you're good? Beautiful. Okay. So let me just give you a little instruction about the site itself. So let me just, this is a little too big. So the Joomla website itself is made out of a lot of different, we could call them tool sets, right? So the site is, this is what the site looks like, which is called the template. So a template, you can either choose a template that comes with Joomla, or you can use the template company. The template controls how your menu works. It controls the colors. It controls basically the overall look of the website. When I'm talking to people, the most important piece is what template you decide. Or, as Robin does it, she builds them from scratch, which is absolutely fine as well. But the most moving parts of a template to me are the menu. So it's very important, at least for me when I'm working with my clients, is to find out how do you want the menu to work? How do you want it to look? Because that's, to me, the most complex part of the Joomla site. And what is the menu? It's that stuff going across the top. So sometimes you may want the menu to sit next to the logo. Sometimes you may want it underneath. Sometimes whatever your vision is, to me, that's the most complicated part. So when you're looking at different templates, it's easier if you pick one that has the menu where you already want it, because that's one less thing you have to worry about, okay? The Joomla site itself, so the template's the overall look, okay? The middle part, which is here, where it says Joomla video tutorial, that's the main content area over there, okay? That's the main content. Each of these pieces here, this slide, these little blocks, all these blocks, these are all called modules. A module is like a widget. Think about you want to put a stock ticker on the page or a list of events. They go in what's called module positions. And they're little things that go all around the site that kind of make the site look like magic. So you have the main content, you have the modules, and then you also have your menu, which kind of is your outline of the site. So if you understand those pieces, that's pretty much the whole site. The class is over now. But basically, that's the different areas. On page 4, I broke that down for you. I apologize when I printed this. I brought it from Google Docs to Word, so my arrows disappeared. I'm very sad. I had arrows disappear. But you kind of see you have main menu and some funky stuff. Side menu. There could be a side menu here. Sample module, article content. So that's what I was referencing here. It's exactly what I just explained. So if you go to page 5, you have accessing the back end. So now we're going to go to the back end. So this is the front end of your website. So during this next 2 hours, we're going to go back and forth between them. So if you can go back to your back end. Okay. I'm just making this site a little bit bigger so you can see. Now, we're currently using Joomla 3.9.4. That's the most current version, 0.4, right? 3.9.4. That's the most current version to date. Joomla 4 is going to be coming out, we think, in the fall. Once Joomla 4 comes out, from what we've been told, Joomla 3.9 series will be still maintained for 2 years. So those of us that maintain client sites, that's an important fact.
I'm sorry, we will have 3.10.
Oh, I'm sorry, they're going to go to 3.10. But the jump between 3.9 and 3.10 is, so far, they've been, knock on wood, they've been pretty easy jumps. And clean. You know, I haven't broken, you know, and since we have over 120 sites, there have been releases in Joomla that have broken things tremendously. But the past couple of ones have not broken things that badly, at least, you know, that major. So anyway, so 3.10 will be the last version, supposedly. Of course, that can change. So basically, that is easy to go to from 3.9 to 3.10. That will be maintained for, they're saying, 2 years. So you want to start talking to your clients now that maybe you're on a 2.5 or older version, because if they start hearing the buzz about Joomla 4, they're going to be like, oh my God, am I going to have to spend another couple $1,000 to move it? Not right now, but you're going to. You know, so you want to kind of, if you, like I have libraries, so I'll let them know, you got to get a grant ready, you got to start thinking about putting a budget together, because in a couple years, we're going to have to move the site. Yes?
So the jump from 2.5 to 4 is going to be very hard, so it's better to go to 3.
That just hurts me. Yeah, yeah. If you have any Joomla 2.5 sites right now, definitely go to 3 before the high jump, long jump over to 4. That would be very painful. Although there are always tools that get created that, you know, I was using SP Migrator and SP Upgrade, really, really helpful. I haven't used it in a long time, but that's helped out a lot. Okay, so let me just give you a tour of the back end. Now this line right here is being displayed because we built this site using Cloud Access. So normally if you have a different host, you may not see this line, so that's a little bit different. But everything else is the same. You have your content stuff going on the left-hand side here, easy ways to get to it. And then you have the top menu going across the top. So you have here system, users, and different things that you can use to manage the Joomla website. Okay, so and that's on page 5. And typically, if I say to you, even during the class, go to the top menu. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. You're good. Thank you for coming. Olivia is going to sign you in. I don't know where you just went, but yes. Welcome, welcome. Okay. So from here, you have, when I say go to the top menu, that's what I'm talking about. System, users, and menus, and things like that. My goal today is kind of just to get you familiar with all the different things. So how is Joomla organized? So one of the things you want to think about when you're building a site, one, the template, how it's going to look, right? So that, a lot of times I just draw it out on a piece of paper and say, okay, what is your vision of the site? And I also try to get my clients to go to different websites tell me what you like, you know, like what website you see. Sometimes they'll go to a site that is absolutely awful, and you're like, no, we're not doing that because it's terrible and it was created 15 years ago and we don't want to look like that. But other times they'll pick something nice, which is fine. The other thing you have to think about is your outline. So the outline itself is basically, yeah, you can sit anywhere, yeah. Thank you. So the outline is something you want to come up with your client. What is your content about? So you have something called categories. Think of categories as folders. So let's say a category could be, if you're, we'll talk about the aquarium. That was the site I did a demo for. So if you do an aquarium, let's say, you may have a category about the different types of animals, mammals, or different types of, what else do we have in an aquarium? You have fish, mammals, right? So you have different types of animals. So you may create a category for each animal, okay? Within the category, which is the folder, you have your articles, okay, which is your different pieces. So you'll have a category called mammals. Within that, you have a different article for dolphins, whales, and the different mammals you may have at the aquarium. You may have one called amphibians, and you'll have the link there, an article for each one, that type of thing. When you're deciding to create a category structure, anything that's in the category can only be inside of one category. That's why I thought of mammals or whatever. Because if you're a mammal, you're not also an amphibian. You can't be in two places at once, right? Well, I'm sure there's an animal that is. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that.
Mermaid.
So basically, what?
A mermaid.
A mermaid. A mermaid. Where do we put the mermaid? So we can put that under, no, there's a word for mermaids.
Hybrid.
Like a hybrid, yes. We could do hybrids or supernatural, like fantasy. Fantasy. We could have a category called fantasy animals. Sure. We could have fantasy. I don't know. Maybe one of your daughters is showing us it. So basically, when you're coming up with your category structure, each article can only exist in one category. Now, you can nest the categories. You can have, like, different nestings of the categories. So that you can do, which way back in Joomla 1, you couldn't. You only had, they were called sections, but we don't have to go into that. So you want to keep in mind that it's only for items that only exist in one place. And one idea is, you may say, well, Laura, why would you ever have something in multiple places? So let's say you have a book catalog for books, and you have different genres of books. Harry Potter, what genre does that fit in? Science fiction, family, adventure, it fits in all of them. So for that, I probably would not do a category structure, because now I have my articles need to happen in multiple places. For that, I would use something called tags. Because tags, you can have a place can exist with multiple tags. Okay, we're not going to talk about tags in here, but that's something else that you want to just keep in mind. The Joomla tags came out, was it 2.5, I think? It was a couple years before custom fields, but it's relatively new-ish, I guess we can say.
3.1.
What was it was?
3.1.
Tags was 3.1? I thought there was a version of 2.5. No? Okay. It's 3.1? All right. I can't even keep track. But anyway, I remember talking about it with Elin in New York when they were building it. But anyway, so the concept of the tag means that it could exist in multiple places. So if you have that type of structure, you're going to want to do tags instead. All right? So when you're thinking about categories, you want to organize in a way where each article only exists in one category. Okay? You have articles. So the articles, that's content, right? So those are your pages. And then the other thing you want to think about are the menus. The menus are how do you get to things. So I'm going to go back to our site here so you can see it. Okay, so this is my menu up here. So this is how I navigate through the site. In Joomla, menus and articles are separate. So what that means, and I try, in the intro classes, I'm always just emphasizing this, they're completely separate animals. Just because you create an article does not mean you have a page to go with it or a menu item. You might, but you don't have to. Okay, so this is where it gets complicated. A menu item could link to a component. It could link to an event calendar. A menu item can link to a category blog that shows a whole bunch of articles. A menu item can link to a single article. So you have to separate in your brain these two things. So a lot of times, that to me is one of the hardest things when you're learning about it, because you're thinking, well, wait a minute, if I'm creating this, isn't this the same as my categories? No, completely separate. So just like in your brain, compartmentalize it somehow. And that was one of the trickiest things I know for me when I first learned Joomla is I tried to keep them married, and they're not. So your menu items are separate. So you keep saying that, it'll eventually begin. Modules. So the modules, as I said before, are the little components that are on your page. Widgets. You know, some people use the term widgets, like you know, a slideshow or a stock ticker or something like that. That would be a module. Okay, so think of them as like little things that kind of make your site a little bit more dynamic, and a lot more dynamic. The modules kind of, to me, pull the things together. I mean, I've done a class over at Rutgers. I'll do a 2-hour class just on modules themselves because there's so many things you can do with it. So we're just going to like today. Okay, so on page 7, so in order for us to do anything, we need a category. I need at least one category to create. Sure, we're going from launch.joomla.org if you wanted to build a new site. It's much better than what we had a couple years ago. Anyway, okay. So, all right, and I don't have any questions or anything. Olivier, I'm still on, right?
Yes, perfect.
We're good? Okay. I only printed 7, but I didn't know how many people were printing it. So if anyone can share, and then I can give you mine once I'm done. So, you know, as soon as I'm done with the class, and then I'll give it to you. I have PDF versions of this as well, so I can email it to everybody. So, I'm sorry. So we're going to create a category. Now, before I continue right now, something just beeped. I think we're okay. Okay. The new people that just came in, I'm going to just stop for a second. Can everyone just introduce yourselves? So let's just go around the room so everyone knows everyone's name. Jay.
I'm Jason. Yeah.
Ben, right? Welcome from New Brunswick, right?
Yeah.
Welcome. Anita. Robin.
Stuart.
Oh, I'm Stuart.
Laura.
Okay.
Dan.
Okay, and I'm Laura. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing this is one of the things with the Joomla camp, one of the most important things, it's not necessarily just what you're learning here, it's getting to know each other. Because once you get to know each other, you can make amazing things happen. You can find, okay, well, I know this person's really good at X, you know, and so when you're working on something, you can call them, you know. Sometimes people may think, oh, well, why would you want to, you know, associate with, like, it's a competitor, they're another website builder. I personally don't see that at all. I find that we work together when we build each other up. That's just my experience, and I have never found any Joomla person to have any issues with whatsoever, because we all want to do better. And if we're all talking about it, we're getting more people to like Joomla, there will be more projects out there for us. So, you know, that's the way I look at it. So the naming is important, and I want you all to get to know each other. Kate, just say hi. Okay. And there is food back there, bathrooms back there, and coffee and whatever, and it's a little bit more minimal than usual, the food, but we have enough. So. We're okay? All right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you to the sponsors. So thank you again to Simplify Your Web, Robert Jacoby, and RS Joomla sponsored this event. So they gave me a couple dollars, so we were able to get food, and you know, and Microsoft for hosting the space. So anyway. Okay, back again. I'm still recording, right? I did hit record, right?
You did, but I don't want to complete.
Okay, so let's hope. Okay, and it's done. Okay, so for categories, let's create a category. Time check. Good. Okay. If you go to content on the top and categories. There's a lot of ways in Joomla to do the same thing. I'm going to show you one way. If you watch the videos, and you may decide to do it different ways, that's perfectly fine. So we're going to create a category. You can click Add New Category from here, or if you just click Categories, and I just got logged out, and you all may have been logged out, so let me just log myself back in. Hold on a second. So if you did launch.joomla.org, you will have gotten an email with the user ID and password, which you can change these things through the Users Manager. And I guess there's a timeout.
Yeah.
So hold on.
You change your
We can change that, can't we? So maybe we should do that first.
I think you said it's 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
So it's very short.
Yeah. You know what, let's just go into categories first because I want to make sure we don't run out of time. Okay, so in categories, to create a new category, now in all of the Joomla screens, you're going to see they're very similar. So they'll have a list of things, right? Something I want you to remember, which we all forget, especially if we're developers, we don't read, do we? We don't read. We find a bug, we say the website's broken and everything's broken. I want you to learn how to read. I want you to learn to read your pages because the other thing that I found with Joomla is people get lost. You get lost very easily. Your clients get lost. So when you're talking to them on the phone and they're like, it's not working, you know, whatever, remind them to read, but you have to show them where to read. So one of the things, where are we right now? Articles, categories. I know where I am. I'm in categories. Because when you're in modules, it looks very similar. When you're in articles, it looks very similar. And a lot of times you're like, where am I? Menus, modules. Just read the top of the page, okay? So right now we're in article categories, okay? I wish it didn't say articles up here. Like I almost wish it said like content because that's the component you're using, right? It would make more sense. Because when you see articles, that kind of throws you off. But anyway, right? Good point, right? So any Joomlers, if you're listening out there, let's change that. Actually, we'll talk to Elisa because she's building the Joomla 4 backend. So we'll bring that up. Okay, anyway, so to create a new category, you just click New here. And now I'm going to go back to the regular screen. Hold on, let me just... It's just taking a second. Any day now. So I just clicked on New to create a new category. So I'm going to do the aquarium, and I'm going to do fantasy animals. We might as well go into that realm. So my title is going to be fantasy animals. You can call yours whatever you want. I don't really care if you want to do movies. Whatever you want your website today to be about, go for it. You want it to be about track, about the different categories of the track teams, the baseball teams, whatever's interesting to you. That's more important. So I'm going to call it fantasy animals. And I'm going to hit save and close. That's it. So I just created a category. Think about that as a folder, and I should see it right here, fantasy animals. This is not going to show up anywhere on my website. Nowhere. Because I did not create a menu item for it yet. So it doesn't really exist. We're just kind of building the shell. Okay? So I created my category. You can put in a category description if you want. The problem with the category description is a lot of times it's difficult to remember where it is. So you see context on a page, and if it's in the category description, I get confused of where it is. So I tend to leave the category description blank. It's just me. And also, I don't think they've ever fixed this. You can't edit the category description from the front end yet, can you? I don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can. So the other thing that Joomla has, which is really nice, is something called front-end editing. So let's say you built a website for a hair salon, right? So the person working at the front desk doesn't have to know Joomla. They could actually go into the front end, hit a login button, and just edit the paragraph that's on the page, hit save, and they're done. So they want to change someone's bio, right? So they can just do that on the front end. You cannot edit the category description from the front end. At least I don't think you can yet. So that could be troublesome too, you know, because it just adds that complexity. So I usually leave that blank. But that's how you create categories. That easy. Bottom of page 7, I kind of bring that up. How to do a title. Again, I apologize if the arrows disappeared. Again, because I went from Google to Word to Google, whatever. Anyway, on page 8, I do a practice. We're not doing a practice. I want to get this through. Page 9, let's create some content. So we need articles, right? So we created a category. Mine's called Fantasy Animals. I don't know what fantasy animals will fit in there, but I'll need your creativity, Dan, to help me. Unicorn. Okay, so on page 9, we're going to work with articles. Okay, so we'll have unicorns. We'll have, like Harry Potter or something. A griffin. Good, good. Okay. So if you go to create the articles, there's a couple different ways you can do this. First of all, do not click new because I'm still in categories, right? Again, read the top of the page. Hardest thing to do. So on the left, I can click on articles right here. So if everyone can click on articles, and it's moving. So now, read the top of the page. Articles. Again, just keep reading, because I can't tell you how many times I've done an intro class and we started creating articles, what they were doing was creating categories, because they never left the category area, okay? So we want to be in articles. So how do I know? I see the word articles on top. Also, at the very top of the URL, it says com_content. That's the component we're using, okay? Ampersand view equals articles. That's what I'm viewing, articles. So I also want you to get used to read the URLs that are very top of the page. That also helps you to debug. It also helps you to figure out, especially if your client is having issues. A lot of times the client may be having issues. I think 99% of my clients I deal with over the phone. So I'm speaking to them and they're on a page and we may be in completely different areas. So I have to walk them through, okay, where are you? And the best way to do that is I'll say, go to the very top. What does that say up there? And then as soon as they read that, I'm like, oh, okay, you're here, you know, and then I can walk them through. So now, let's create a new article. So to create a new article, click on New, the green button. Okay. So again, I'm going to read where I am. Article new. So everyone's page should say that. If it says categories new, you got to cancel out, get into articles. Okay, so you know where you are. So let's create our first article. So I'm going to create for unicorn. You guys can do for whatever you want. And I'm going to walk you around this page a little bit. And on page 9, I also walk you through here about, you know, the article, content articles, you know, and I make a note that it's just because the article, you create an article, it's not going to be on the website. It's just like very beginning, early stages. Okay, in the content here is where I can edit. Let me ask you guys, what does your stuff look like up here? Is this editor or is it different? Does it look like these buttons? Yes? Okay, interesting. Okay, so those of you that when we do launch.joomla.org, especially if you're asking a client to do this, if you have them select the cloud-based template, by default it uses this editor, which is the JC editor. Some of the more advanced users will know what I'm talking about. If you don't select that, you select Protostar, whatever the default is, it does not install JCE editor. It uses TinyMCE, which is the Joomla version of the editor, which they are going to be they're improving supposedly. So again, I'm really referencing those that are working with their clients and doing this, because when I did Joomla Day Florida, I didn't tell them specifically to select cloud-based. So when I was teaching the class, none of them had this editor. They all had the other editor. So I was like, why didn't it install it? But that's why. So the cloud-based, for some reason, when you select cloud-based, it installs JCE. For some reason, when you don't pick the cloud-based template, it does not install JCE. Is that weird? So now I know the pattern. Anyway, so in here you have the title, so I'm just going to call it unicorn, the alias. So for the alias, my suggestion is the alias should always be what the title of the article is. So I always blank it out. When you blank it out, when you save it, Joomla will be smart enough to use the title for the alias. So what is the alias? That's what will come up on the URL. So when you're going to a specific page, now for articles, it doesn't always use the alias because it usually uses the menu items, so I know it may throw you off a little bit. But I always like to keep the alias whatever makes sense. Okay. And you may say, okay, Laura, why is this such a big deal? If you copy an article, it will use the original alias of what you copied. So you want to always clear that out. So be in the habit of clearing that out and then saving it so you don't end up having like for records, we create new course schedules, we'll create a new article. So let's say we copy fall of 2019, copy it, change the title to spring 2019, the alias still says fall 2019. So you want to make sure to clear that out. What? With a 2. Yeah, it'll throw a 2 there, but it's still, it'll say fall, and then you don't know which is which, right? So you want to clear that out.
And then that the alias is actually a unique ID your article is going to have in your category, so that when you click on the URL, it knows where to go.
And so in the newest version of Joomla, they gave us the capability of doing URLs that don't use the article ID. So in the past, it would use the article ID as part of the URL. So it would put like 121 or whatever. You'd see numbers there. You can change that in the options, and I'll actually show you how to do that. So you can change the URL generation so it is using the full content. So I don't know, Olivier, in the past when it was using the number, was it really using, it would use the alias, but the number is what made it unique.
Yeah, the thing is that Google references the URL, so it references the ID before.
But now if the ID isn't there,
if it's referencing the alias instead,
yes,
it's better SEO.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah. So you want to make sure it's unique and unique in the category. Okay, so you may have fall 2019 schedule for undergraduate and fall 2019 schedule for graduate. So graduate is one category, undergraduate is another category. Yeah. Yep.
So the alias can be put into the title?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Sure. But if you blank it out,
to record all the aliases you took from that typical title.
wait, say that again?
You have to record every alias you put in the title, because if it's not the same, then you can.
It won't let you do anything.
I don't think it'll let you have a duplicate alias in the same category. It'll put a number after it. It'll put a number. Yes. Yeah, and you.
If I have a long title for my article, I sometimes make a summary in that.
Absolutely.
So that I get rid of the and, plus,
Right.
you know, all of those words. Just put the really important words that you can tell our article. And so that it would make sense in the search engine.
Yeah, so if I
had
had,
this long string.
if my unicorn title was Unicorns That Dance in the Forest and Are Purple with Sparkles, and that was my title,
You need it.
I don't have any daughters, so I don't get to think creatively ever. So this is my time. So anyway, in the alias, you could just call it unicorn.
No, I mean, the question is, you have to remember those aliases you are given to this huge took it away.
No, because Joomla won't let you save a duplicate anyway, and hopefully you know your content well enough, so yeah, you definitely have to know your content. Well, by default, Joomla's going to use the title anyway. So they're going to use that. But Kate, you know,
Just from where that the alias get that, it's lowercase and then words are separated by a dash.
That's the
that's the
for
default.
Joomla. By the way, you can change
You
the
can
alias
change
to anything you want.
Yes.
If you want to, but if you leave it blank, Joomla will, based upon the article title.
Right. But if I write my own alias, that's the format that I usually use. But you're saying you don't have to?
You don't have to.
Oh.
So look, so you can see it right here. So unicorns in the forest, white dancing, whatever, right? So if I just hit save, and then we talked about aliases for so long, it's good. Okay, any day now. I know. I can't tell you when I'm going through my record site. So look at the alias. So this is the default, unicorns in the forest, white dancing, whatever. So this is the alias default, but I could change this. So if I highlight it, I could just call it unicorns. And that's my alias. So that's what Mark just said. Yeah. I would keep it all lowercase. I don't know if an advantage of throwing uppercases in there. You guys, right?
It's just cleaner.
Yeah.
It's easier to type.
Yeah.
And people don't get confused. It used to be that the World Wide Web was
Case sensitive. It's
but
not
it no
now.
longer is.
No. Well, it depends on your host too, doesn't it? Can it?
Yes.
Okay, so So now, a little bit more, so that's it. So anyway, the next thing that I have to do, so everyone puts in a title, you can leave the alias blank if you want, or put something in there, and then you want to select your category. So here's your category. So if everyone can click on the down button, click on your category, and I'm going to select my fantasy animals. Okay, and then in the content, I can actually type in the text. Okay, and did I take it in here? Okay. For the article text, if everyone can open up another browser, and it's called, I think it's, let me just double check and make sure that's the site I want to take you to. I think it is. Yep. Okay. If you can go to open up another tab and you want Lipsum, LIPSUM .com. So what this does is this is a site that can generate text for you to use as sample pages on your website, which I love doing this, especially for my clients when I'm just creating a base page, because then I could get some paragraphs in there, okay, to work, which is a nice thing. So if everyone can go to this page, scroll to the bottom, yeah?
When I don't know if you can get into it, but regular labs is an extension. It's called dummy content.
And that puts it in there?
With a single click, you can put in paragraphs.
Oh, nice. And it's free. Regular labs. They're not no number anymore, right? No number.
It's
became regular labs. Yes, same company. Yeah.
It's
very nice.
Yeah. It makes life
yes, so then you could just throw it in there. So that's regular labs. They have a plugin. And I'm assuming with the plugin, it's just when you turn it on, there's a button at the bottom, right?
Got it.
So you click on the button, it could generate the text for you. Yeah, so that's with regular labs. Yeah. So if you didn't have that, right here, you can click on Generate Lorem Ipsum. So if you click on this button right here, so you want to make sure you click on the button. So scroll down to the bottom of the page, and there's my text. So what I can do now is I can copy a bunch of paragraphs. I'm just going to copy 2 paragraphs. Okay. I don't know why that little thing just popped up, but anyway, okay. Why am I not copying? It's thinking. Olivier, I'm still on, right?
Yes, you will.
I am not able to copy.
So don't maybe use the button. Is there a time you can save an article if you didn't have any content in there?
No. Yeah, but I just...
It's just one file. You could have saved an article if you wasn't.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I know they fixed it.
So I'm stuck right now, but that's okay. So the only bad thing, Olivia, is what are people seeing now? They're seeing blank screen? Nice. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. It'll come back. So if you can copy the text, and then, so to copy, you can do a Control-C. Now go back into your article, put your cursor in the description, and you can hit Control-V as in Victor. When I first started teaching, my dad had a company, and I used to teach PowerPoint. I had a whiteboard, and I actually drew, because we didn't have the projectors. So I drew a picture of PowerPoint, and that's how I would teach them. Yeah, that was fun. It was good. Okay, so now I'm copying the text. I'm with you now, Control-C, go to my article edit.
I think the first time the slide, use it and right.
Which one?
The plastic transparent one. I don't know how it's supposed to do it.
Overhead. The overhead.
Yes, the overhead projectors, and you would just write. Yes, that was fun. That was fun, yes. So you can paste the stuff in here. So you can paste your text bit. And on page, let me show you. Find articles, categories, cutting style. Okay, we're going to jump over to page 11. So you can paste the text in here. A couple just quick things about pasting text. If you have a Word document and you want to paste the content from Word into Joomla, don't. No, there are ways around it. So, like, for example, especially at Rutgers, this happens a lot. So you have a department where the chair of the department has this lengthy Word document that they want to put a course description or something like that. So they give it to the administrative assistant, they copy it from Word, they paste it in. The problem is what happens is this Word has a lot of different formatting things in there. So when you copy it and you paste it directly into Joomla, it tries to bring over those formatting rules. That will make your site look very, very ugly. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it, and I show you on page 11. If you paste it, and actually I think I should give you an example. If you're editing an article, let's say you're editing an article that already looks funky, okay, so you're going the backwards approach, you're going like, what's wrong with this? If you go to the code view, it'll look funky. It'll have what's called MSO tags, Microsoft Office tags. And no offense to Microsoft, but those are the tags that it brings in. So if it looks like that, you can undo it. So one way you can undo it, is that you, Mark? Or is that Microsoft yelling at me because I said, yeah. They're MSO tags, they are. So another thing you can do is you see the little erase formatter? So if you find you have a lot of stuff going on, you just don't know how to fix it, you can highlight your text and then click on that little eraser, and it will remove any formatting that might be there. So that's option number one. So if you find yourself there. The other option is if, in order to paste it, I think we have a couple options. Yeah. So if you right-click, you can select Paste as Plain Text. So if you right-click anywhere, you do Paste as Plain Text. It's singing with me. Is the power not working? And then you could paste it in here, and it will clean up any formatting that's in there. Now, sometimes the person in the department, the admin, will say, yeah, but what about my bullets? What about? You can rebuild the bullets. It'll take you 5 minutes to kind of put the bullets back in or something like that. But when you're taking it from someplace else, it's not going to come over right. So it's better to bring it over clean. Sometimes I even use Notepad. I just keep Notepad opened up, and I'll paste it in there, and then I'll throw it in. So again, your goal is to not bring over fancy stuff. And the other thing you want to ask is, what if their fancy stuff is like in different fonts and different colors and things like that? And that may look lovely for a flyer or something that's printed, but on a website, keep it simple. Keep the same font. You know, I have some clients that may have yoga studios or children's things or whatever, and they want like these curly cues in the fonts, and they want all these funky things. I'm like, it's one thing for a title, but nobody can read it. Nobody can read it. And 90% of the people looking at your website are looking at it on a cell phone. They don't need script and none of all this fancy stuff. Keep it straight. I mean, you could use serif. That's the ones with little dots, or sans serif. That's lovely. But when they want the funky or the flower font or different things, I would try to convince them that, you know, it's not going to work. And again, remind them, most of your clientele are going to be looking at your website on the phone, and they can't read it on the phone. So it's a lot different even now, even from like 2 years ago. Okay, so keep that in mind. And the same thing with the different colors. So with the colors, you want to keep in mind accessibility issues. So a lot of people have visual issues. They're colorblind. A lot of people are colorblind at different levels of colorblindness. So what that means is when you put blue on a red background or red on a blue background, they can't read it. They can't see it at all. So again, keep it simple. And so accessibility standards, something else you want to think about. Many people will be using your site using a screen reader. So what that means is when they go to the site, they actually click a button and screen reader reads the site back to them. So if they're doing that and your site has these beautiful embedded images with text and they will not know what that's saying. They will not be able to see it. So again, these flyers are beautiful to hang up on the walls and things like that. They're not great for your website. So if you have a client that's insisting on these really beautiful things, and let's say they have a designer that builds these flyers for them, and I tell them, okay, when your designer builds the flyer, lovely, have them create a version for the website, which should just be the image itself, and then you can put the description of the event or whatever is below it. It's fine. You know, so especially a lot of people hire designers, and they hire them to do amazing stuff. So ask them to create one more thing. It'll probably cost you, it won't even cost much more if you're paying them anyway. So just keep that in mind. So for web, no embedded images on text, simple colors, simple fonts. You want it to be readable by a screen reader. And we had an accessibility class, which I think is on my wall. You could actually watch Christine's class that she taught. We'll probably do it again in a couple months because it's that important. I know if you have a not-for-profit organization, it's the law now these organizations in the United States are being sued because they're not accessible. They're being sued by millions and millions of dollars. These are universities, libraries, all of them. The lawyers, the suits are coming like you would never, you know. So you have to make your site accessible. So that it's not even just nice to have anymore. So it's kind of required. It is a requirement, yeah. So page 11, right, you actually found, I found that one thing with the label ID, you know. So, yeah, thank you. In which version? 4.8.1? Yeah. Cool, thank you. See, Olivia keeps fixing the Okay, so next page, using images. Okay, you guys want to put an image in your article? Let's put an image in there. Okay. So let's find an image. So you ask about images. Can you just download images from Google for a client? I don't recommend it. We're going to do it today because who cares? But normally I do not recommend using Google for images. There are some sites that you might be able to get stock images from, which are fine. But you probably have to pay for them. So I would remind your client that if they want images of the Grand Canyon and things like that for whatever reason, either they should take those pictures themselves or they need a budget to put aside to pay for stock images. It's one or the other. And if they refuse to have a budget, then you can say, I'm not working for you. It's really that severe because as a web developer, a lot of times the clients think you're responsible for getting them their image. And you're not. So you could say, listen, dude, you know, go to iStockPhoto.com, it's fine, but you have to pay for it. Make them pay for it. Don't you pay for it and then bill them. Let them pay for the account. Let them own the images so you're hands off as the developer. I ran into an issue years ago with an electrical website where he wanted an image of New York City. And this was, I don't know, 15 years ago. So I just grabbed it, or 12 years ago. I grabbed an image. Now, the image was a pretty image. It had nothing to do with selling the image. It was just a picture of New York City with the lights, right? And he wasn't claiming that he did electrical work for all of New York City or anything like that. Anyway, supposedly the photographer of the image got in touch with us because there's codes in these images and said, I am suing you for $10,000. I'm like, first of all, you're not, and we're not paying. But again, I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. So make your clients responsible for the images. Let them give them to you, and you tell them, listen, if you stole this from Google, it's your problem, not mine. Let them deal with it. I had my yoga client, and this is weird. She took a photo of a card that she got a card, like a thank you card, and on it was a teddy bear. She took a picture of it and put that picture on the website. The designer of that card got in touch with her and told her to take it down. I don't know. I have no idea. And maybe they weren't even real. I don't know. But we just took the image down. But that's how, you know, with copyright, that is how it works. So, yeah. Hey, Eddie, how are you? Come on in. Kate, yeah.
Yeah, there's a site called unsplash.com.
Okay.
That has royalty-free images.
Great.
And it's great because I do a lot of nonprofits. And
they don't listen.
I will just grab images from there to use. And they're free, royalty-free. They ask you for credit in the metadata. So they,
she just has to put it in the metadata.
So you put it right there. Yeah. And their photos are great.
Thank you. So that's from Kate. So splash.com. So those of you that are in virtual land. Yeah.
I use a fairly inexpensive. There's an inexpensive one that I like.
Which one?
123RF.
I think I used them. .com?
Yeah, 123RF.com. And this one I really like because there are a lot of photos available for $2 and $4.
Nice.
You know, rather than 20 and 30 and so forth. There are various sizes available. But I buy like $40 worth of paints at a time, which is and like that. And then when I want a photo, I just go in and search for what I want. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. So I just got you guys too. Okay. So, but just again, my recommendation: make your clients responsible for the photos. The more you can put up the sample ones. But again, What if you step away from them and, you know, whatever. So anyway, that's something you want to give to the client to make sure that they do. So now, let's all go to Google. Let's download one image. So I'm going to do a search for unicorns. I'm hoping nothing bad comes up when I search for unicorn images, right? Like nothing X-rated, thank you guys, right? Like, I hope so. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to do a search. Should I use Bing? Okay, I'll use Bing. Does that mean nothing bad will come up? Okay, I am using Bing. All right, let's see. Any day now. Okay, so if everyone can just search for images, whatever tool you want to use. Images. Okay, lovely. Okay. All right, so what I want you to do is find an image. Don't get something too small, you know, or whatever size, it doesn't matter. So if you get an image, this is pretty, and then you want to right-click on it and select download. I think if I save, I think this is saving it to my downloads, but I'm going to double check. So you want to make sure it's saving it to your downloads. Now, those of you that are borrowing the Surface computers, I'm assuming the save will work, but I'm not positive. And you can try. Eddie, do you need to borrow a computer, or you have yours?
I don't. I mean, I have a tablet.
So, yes, so here.
Oh, there we are.
Yep. So do you want to sit down here or over there? Where do you want to sit?
Does anybody have a device? If you can, yeah.
I just gave you that. We may need one for later on.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to save my unicorn. You can come in the middle. Okay. So I save my image. Okay, did everyone save an image? Okay, you want to come back to your article, and in our handout, I'm on page 12. 45 minutes. Okay. They'll decide 45. Okay. Okay, when you're in the article, if you can put your cursor to the left of the first letter there, okay, just whenever you're using adding images, you want to know where your cursor is in the article because that's where the image is going to be placed, okay? Using this editor, this is the JCE editor, you can click on the little image icon right here. It's to the left of the check ABC. So this image manager is not for Joomla. This is with the JCE or Joomla content editor. So if you're using this stuff at your website at home, I happen to really like the Joomla content editor. I also pay for the subscription for it. I think it's $25 a year or something like that. You can install as many sites as you want. And one quick note about subscriptions. There's a lot of free tools out there. I highly recommend if the developer gives you an opportunity to pay for the subscription, usually the price is quite low. Pay, support the developers because they're building some genius content that you're able to use on as many sites as you want, so we want to support them. So even if like JEvents, JCE Editor, these have free versions, which is great, if you can afford to pay for the subscription, go for it. You know, give them a couple dollars. It's, you know, highly recommended. Would suggest it. Plus, sometimes you'll get extra features too. But anyway, so from here, if you click on the upload button to upload your image, and then what I can do is I see the download file right here. I can just drag it right into here. Or you can click browse, and then you can find it on your computer. So it's up to you which way you want to go. So I can just drag this in. I'm hoping it's not too large. Nope. And then you could click on the upload button. Stuart, yeah? Question? No? Okay. It's okay. I saw you raise your hand. Okay, so I uploaded my image. I'm going to wait a second. Is everyone able to get to this part? Yes? Okay. So now, when you find the image here, okay, you have to click on it. So click on it. Don't do anything else. Just click on it. I want you to just take it one step at a time here. Once I click on it, the address for the image or the URL is going to be up top. It's going to say images/unicorn.jpg. If you change the name of your image at any time, that link is no longer going to work. It's going to be broken. So don't change the names of your images unless you know what you're doing. Okay, once they're loaded, that's what it displays. So you click on it, it should be up here. Okay, are you guys good? You find the image?
Yes.
You're good? Okay. All right. From here, I want you to look around this page. There's a lot of options here. So the best way to learn all these options is to try them, just to go through and try the different options. But I want you to look at this right here. So this shows how it's going to display on your page. Okay? So if on the left, first of all, I'm going to make it a little smaller because that 1024 is really big. I'm going to make it 250. Okay? I'm going to keep it proportional, so now it'll display smaller. But I like it for my text to kind of wrap around the image. It would look a lot nicer. Okay? So to do that, if you click on alignment, and you can click left, look what happens here. See what I just did? If I select right, it will jump over to the right side. So if I go right, it'll go to the right. So this is a way, again, you can preview what you're doing. You can see what's happening. This option is with the JCE editor, the JCE editor that lets this magic happen. But I don't really like this because see how the words are like right across, right next to the image like that. Looks kind of silly. So to fix that, in the margin, you see where it says margin? Can you just put a 10 in there? And then hit tab. So when I put a 10, because it says equalize, it's going to put a 10 in the right, bottom, and left. So what it's going to do, it's going to push my image down. So I'm going to have a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10. See what it did? Okay, now, I'm not thrilled with that either, because to be honest with you, I'd rather my picture kind of be aligned to the top, to the left, and I want it aligned to the top. So what I can do is if you click on equalize, and I set the top to 0 and the right to 0, so I want to uncheck equalize. That's secondly what you're doing. So now my image, thank you. Sorry, guys. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so now you can see it kind of lines up better, all right, and it just makes more sense. It looks better here. You can put a border on it if you want. I'm not going to bother with that right now. Okay, but it looks lovely, right? And before you hit the insert image button, can you just make sure the dimensions aren't too huge, like by default, like 5,000, it's going to make your page look really strange. And then you just click on the insert button on the bottom. And let's see, I actually walk you through. On page 13, I walk you through the options. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but on page 13, I walk you through all of those options. So with the image size, another thing you want to make sure is to put in the alternate text. And again, I apologize because I converted this back and forth. This text is missing, so I'm sorry, but basically it's all in here. So Eddie, I brought it from Word to Chrome or Office 365 and back. And yeah, so it's, yeah, exactly. So Eddie, by the way, I work with him over at Rutgers, so I'm going to say hello. Welcome. Okay. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to do right now. All right. So now, if you can hit save and close, we have a beautiful article. We have text. And now I'm going to do one more thing before we take like a 5-minute break. We're going to do a little practice because I want you to get some content in there. I know it's going slow, but this stuff's important. So we did a category, created one article, but nothing is displaying on the website yet, right? So what we're going to do is I want to create a category blog, a menu item for my fantasy animals. Okay, so if I create a menu item, that way I can show the things that I create. So if everyone can go to menus, menus, then main menu. So what menus, main menu. Now for right now, I'm going to go through this a little bit more quickly. So I need you to just trust me on this. So menus, main menu. I'm not going to go through every explanation yet because I just want to get a page up. So go to Menus, Main Menu, and then again, if we practice our reading skills and look at the top, it says Menus, Items. So it should say Menu Items at the top. So you're looking at Menu Items. Okay. I want to create a new menu item. So you click on New. If it doesn't say Items up there, just raise your hand. I can help. Okay. All right. So click on New. And Olivier, our conference is still working, right? Okay. All right. So for the menu title, I'm going to call it Fantasy Animals. So I think we just used launch.joomla.org, and we created a blank website. We created a category. We added some articles. Well, one article, so we've done so far. So Fantasy Animals, for the menu item type, okay, you want to click on that. So now you have a pop-up. Click on Articles. Click on Category Blog. And I'm going to just walk you through this, and then I'll take you through slowly in a few minutes. I really need 8 hours. I need a full day for this class. But anyway. So you want to click on Articles. Select Category Blog. And then I click Choose Category, and I want to select my Fantasy Animals. Okay. And then I want you to do one more thing, is if you click on Blog Layout, for leading articles, I want you to do 1. Intro articles, I want a 10. Number of columns, I want 2. And then hit Save and Close. And now we're going to look at the site. We're going to see if we did anything. So in theory, we should have created a page. We created an article. So if you go to your website, which you probably have another browser open for it already, if you don't, you can click where it says Cloud-Based 3. And you may have to refresh the page. And then in theory, I should see Fantasy Animals any day now. There it is. I click on it. And there is my pretty article. Does everyone have an article? Yes? We're good? Okay, good. Okay, we're good. Very good. Okay, you never know what's going to happen. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to give you all about 10 minutes. So if you need to stand up, take a quick break. I want you all to create about 3 or 4 articles in that category. So I want you to do the same thing that you did before. So again, I'm going to just walk you through very quickly. So if you go, so this way we have some articles to work with. It's hard to do this without the content. So if you go to Content, Articles, create a new article, and add like maybe 2 or 3 articles. So take a few minutes and just add a couple articles to your site. The other thing you can do is you can copy the article you already did. So I can click on Unicorns in the Forest, which is the easiest way to do it. So I can click on it, but I do recommend you put different images in there because you'll forget which article's which and change the title to something different. I can hit Save as Copy. So I can copy this and create a couple articles. So if everyone can do any questions? Okay, so create a couple articles now. Do your thing. Take a break if you want. Those of you that are in virtual land, we are just taking like a 10-minute break, and then I'm going to get back to just finish this up. So my goal is to finish this by 12:30. So then we'll finish up. Okay, good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. All right, I'm going to create these articles. What? Should I hit the record button?
Yes.
But then I need to start it as a new class. I'm going to let the record keep going, because what I found is when you stop the recording, then you start again, yeah, unless I start it to a brand new session, which we'll do at 1:30. So I'll just keep it recording. Okay, so mermaids.
Iris.
That's okay. So I'm going to do it here so that way I have a couple articles to work with. It is slow. Slow, slow, slow.
These rolls are really yummy.
Kiki, I'm so sorry they didn't let you in. I know. I am gonna do that downstairs.
Well, no, we gotta talk to him. It's not that serious.
Some of the type for tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I was waiting. That's the main story.
So the five. She's running around with them. So they were able to get in. So she waited for an hour and a half. She was not enough to
Yeah. Yeah. Because I went down and yeah. Alright, I was up to the worst. Yeah. As soon as I came in, he was like, there. He was yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because she had the list.
Yeah, I guess.
So that's why I gave him a full list of TV I really wanted.
Yeah, this is Karma. Well, I told you, no problem for that. Yeah. Well, I don't apologize for that. I'm glad you made it. Yeah. So, I was like at 9:30, from 9:30 we start we're coming here, so.
I read about it.
Everybody was. Yeah. Yeah. Because the opening is slow, right? Like everything is completely slow. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
How you guys doing? You able to create the article?
Yeah.
And you go to the page, like, your page message. You want to flash the light. Click on gospel. Click on. Yep. Then you can choose left. Like that. Where's that up?
Yeah.
Okay, so mermaid. Sorry, did you say someone has an extension or video?
Share, like,
Oh, that. So, it does for category. What's another fantasy animal? What's the horse? Pegasus is good. Thank you. Not a great topic for me because I don't know anything. So latest news enhanced, you could do category blogs, but you can select custom fields. So you can say, I want these fields to show up in the blog view, and by default, the image is clickable. So you know how in category blog, the images aren't clickable. So this way you can click on the images. And you can decide what fields you're going to display. So there's a lot of control there. So let me just do this last image. What is that? Yeah, latest news enhanced, yeah. We did a session on it that I recorded. I'm pretty sure I recorded. It's in my wall, so if you go to the wall, there's a couple of recordings there.
You said you were all making your Google volunteer.
What?
You say you were all making your Google volunteer.
No. If you go to freeconferencecall.com, where is this? freeconferencecall.com /wall/Rytech123. So it's in the Joomla users. If you go to Joomla users group, joomlaUsersNJ.com/JoomlaCamp, it's on that page as well. I put it right on the front page. So people that are watching this virtually. All right, so we're going to finish the images. Got that. How's your site, Dan?
It's good.
You're good?
Yeah.
See how it works?
I made some overcomplicated.
Of course.
In my idea of what my site would be, I was going to have a section with blogging, except in that menu item I started calling articles. But now I've got a menu item called articles, but articles is also an element in Joomla.
Wait, so what's the page for? Blogging? Wait, what is it for?
No, in my mind I had like there would be a menu item for articles, a menu item for shop, things like that. So
a shop, like.
Yeah, like selling.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
So the articles tab first, except now we're talking about articles as a whole
Yes.
Element in
and it gets confusing. So okay. So then I want to show them all. Beautiful. So now I have my page. Okay.
These tabs are
All right. So.
All right, I'm going to start again. If you guys want to chat, but right here. All right, guys, let's get back in. So we're going to start up again, and here's my page. So I have 3 articles. It doesn't look great, but you can see how this works. So now I want to talk a little bit about what the category blog view is doing and how it works, right? That's why. So a category blog view, the purpose is to show the content of your articles, okay? But one thing that we did not do properly is that they're not really teasers. Like this is kind of long, where I have like 2 paragraphs. It's like a lot of information. So one thing that we can add, hi, welcome.
Oh.
Are you with us or no? You're on a tour?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so in order to do this better, we can add something to our article content called a read more. So that way the category blog view becomes more of like what I call a teaser. So it's just showing you a part of an article. So what I want you to do is go back to your articles, and then we're going to go into the menu builder. And pick any of your articles. I'm going to pick my unicorns one. So in my article, I want to put my cursor right after the first paragraph. Got there anytime now. Okay, so if I put my cursor right at the end here, so you want to put your cursor there. Okay, now scroll down to the bottom of your editor, and you'll see a plugin or a button right down here that says Read More. So click on the Read More button right over here, and you'll see a line. It's an HR tag. With a Read More property that gets put in right here. You can only put one Read More tag or button in your article at a time. You can only have one Read More. If you want a line, that's fine. You can put HR tag. Those are like horizontal rules. But the Read More, you can only have one. Save your article, and let's do this to the other 2 articles as well. So I'm going to hit Save and Close, and hopefully just as you were creating articles, you were starting to get a little bit more comfortable. The best way to learn Joomla is to use it and to break it. Like I recommend people actually do an intro class twice. You do it once just to kind of figure it out, break the site, like work on it, and then do it again, and then things will start like solidifying. So my expectations are after these 2 hours, you're not, well, some of you might come out, just building websites from scratch, but it takes a little while. So I'm going to go into my other articles. I'm going to do the same thing. Just takes a second. I'm going to click right at the bottom here, then scroll down, click on my Read More, save and close, and then I'll do the same thing for my other article. then once you're done, I want you to go back to your page and look it over. See if it looks a little bit better. It should. So I just want to make sure by 12:30 12:40 we can go to. Okay.
Laura,
Yes.
earlier I had trouble inserting the photo.
Yep.
I thought it was too big when I looked.
Yeah.
But I found one that works now.
Yep.
It says I missed something what you said before. I'm trying to insert it, but it says I have to enter a URL.
You have to click on the image. After you upload it, click on it. Mark, can you show them where to click on the name? Yeah, show them. Just click on the name, and then you'll have the URL. Mark will show you. Okay, so now, if I go to my Fantasy Animals page and I refresh,
Well,
look what I just did. So does your site look like this now? Here, you can click on the top. Yes, and then you should be able to click on it. Helpful? Yeah. That's okay. So go back to the menu item. Go back here. Go to menu. Okay. Go to main menu. Can I have everyone back over here for a second? When we did the menu items, some of your menu items may not have gotten saved correctly, so I want to make sure, let's go back through the menu item and make sure we saved it correctly, okay? But with the read more, this is in theory what it's supposed to come out with, okay? So let's go back to the menu item, because I really didn't teach that. I just kind of made you walk through it. If everyone could go to menus and main menu, let's do this together. So menus, main menu, okay? Find the menu item that you just created. So mine was called Fantasy Animals. Here's something else. Can everyone just look up here for a second? Now we're gonna slow down and talk about menus, and then it'll make sense. On page 15 in here are menus. Okay. These are all the menu items that are on the website. Okay, now since you didn't build the site, you don't know what half the stuff is. It doesn't make any sense, right? But there is one that you created. There's a couple of ways to find your menu items. The first thing I like to do when I look at menu items, you see this drop down right here where it says 20? I always change this to all. And the reason why is then I see my full outline all on one page. Okay? Yes?
Please remind me to submit a request that they change the order of that and make all.
I actually don't think they'd want to do that because all would be a little bit too many. And, you know, caching and stuff. Possibly, yeah. But anyway, so now, once I did all, I can now see all of my menu items. But let's say you have 100 menu items. It's hard to find the one that you're looking for, right? It's a couple of different ways. If you hit Control-F on your keyboard, I'm going to show you two ways. Control-F, start typing the name of your menu item. So Jay, yours is softballs, right? So mine is Fantasy. Boom, I'm brought right to it. There it is, Fantasy Animals, okay? Another way you can search through the menu items is you go on top and you could type in the search Fantasy. Hit enter, and then you're going to see your menu item pop up. The reason why I didn't do that first is because the problem with doing it this way is what if you type Fantasy in wrong? You spelled it wrong. It's never going to come up, and you're going to be like, where is it? So if you're searching through all and you're scrolling through, it's easier to find that menu item, especially if you can't find it, which I type things in incorrectly all the time, so that's very common. So if you click on Fantasy Animals, so Jay, you have your menu item, right? So we're going to fix this now. So the menu item type for everybody, I want this to be a category blog. So Jay, I think yours is a list, right? Archive, yeah. So if it's not a category block, click on select here. Click on articles. From here, select category block. It's the second one. The next thing you have to do is to select which category. Does everyone have a category selected here? Again, it's just saving. Are you guys caught up yet?
You're in the right?
You already created it. We're just editing the menu items you already created.
So if you go to menus, main menu.
Menu, yep. Menu, yep. What do you call it? You call it art. That's it. Just put on it. I'm just making sure all the menu items are set up right. So because I did that kind of quickly, so I wanted to make sure we all have the make sense. So from here, we want category blog and the idea. Does everybody have that here? And you have that? Yes? Okay. So now, can you hit save and close? Let's go back to your page and let's see if we all have the same view now. I was just bringing everybody back. So if I go to my Fantasy Animals page, it should look something like this. Sorry. Does it look something like this? Jay, is it looking better now? Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to your article. So here's the question. Let me ask the room. Can I have everybody back for a second? I'm going to ask you all a question. I want to teach you a little debugging in Joomla. This is the fun stuff, okay? If I go to this page and it's blank, God bless you. I go to the page and it's blank. I already checked to make sure the menu item is selecting my category. But there's nothing showing up here. What could be wrong?
I know the question.
It was? Yeah. What could be wrong?
They could be unpublished.
The items could be unpublished. Okay. What else? Anything else?
They may not have enough of them to, well, the question was why am I showing up in 2 columns? You may not have enough articles.
Yes, that's correct. What if you didn't put the articles in that category? Right? So what if your gospel articles are in the category called uncategorized? They make it somewhere else. So now how to debug it? Okay? So this is an important part of Joomla, is kind of figuring this stuff out, because usually you will break it. Right? And that's my job, 24/7. Basically, so now you go through, you check the menu item. We did that. We checked. We made sure it's selecting the right category. So now I go to content and articles. Look around here. Is anything strange? So when I go to articles, okay, I can look right here. I have Pegasus. Verified is the category for me, say fantasy animals.
Categorized.
There you go. So, one quick thing, Jay, don't fix it yet. Okay? The other thing you want to make sure of is make sure that that's a green check, meaning published. Okay? So let's say you put all of these in the wrong category. So here's a quick way you can fix it. Can everyone click on the check boxes to the left of each name? Check, check, check. Okay? So what if, and this happens all the time, like I'll start building stuff and I forgot to put it in the right category to start. I'm copying other articles. I create 300 of them, and they're all in the wrong place. Okay? So you can check them, and then on the top you can click batch. Now this batch button has moved. I think every release of Joomla, sometimes it was on the bottom, sometimes on the top. In Joomla 4, did they move it again? We don't know.
Right now,
it's still in the same place. Okay, so this batch button usually moves. So I'm just letting you know that the new releases of Joomla, just keep your eyes open. There always will be one, and they may decide to call it something different as well. So, where in the world is the batch? Remember when it used to be on the bottom? And I remember when Helen was showing us once, I was so mad. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. I can't find it. Anyway, so at least they put it back to the top. So, in the batch, I can click here, and I can select the right category that I want it to go in. So you can find your category. I'm not going to move my categories right now. You could select move, or you could select copy. So this is another thing you could do. What if you want to copy a bunch of articles and put them someplace else? This batch thing is very nice. Because you want to make copies of articles, and yeah. So, and then you would just click process. I'm not going to do it because I'm not moving my stuff. And now, in theory, I'm hoping between your articles being published, being in the right category, Jay has your page.
We're good.
Yes. Okay, everybody else has a page? Hey, what's going on?
Weird issue.
Great.
On the layout, I have my first article, my intro article, and then I have 2 columns, 10 articles. I have 4 articles actually here. The first 2 are indented. The second 2 are blank. It only happens when I put the reading in.
All right, Olivia. There's we got to do it in specs because I think there's something. If the images are too large, Olivia, what do you think? If the images are too large, if we do it as one column, I'm sure.
Is she doing the blog layout? She's doing the blog layout?
Yes.
There's featured and then there's.
Let's double check. Yes.
Make sure you're not featured.
Can we double check? No, but how many lead articles do you have in your blog?
I have 1 lead article in the blog.
Eddie, we've seen this before.
I think so. Sometimes
Yeah.
I've seen that. You know what? Try making 0 lead articles, but try 1 column.
If you do 1 column, it'll fix it. It could be because of the images.
If the image is too big, the read more comes up too high, and then the next article
and it breaks it.
over. Yeah.
But this works.
Yeah.
The bottom 2 work.
The bottom 2 are fine because they're falling into columns.
Yep.
Try making like.
I've seen it. We've seen it at Rutgers, which is why, Olivier, we use your tool instead.
Reading article goes all the way across.
That's why we use latest news. Because you don't have this problem with this tool. Did that help?
Yeah, that's it.
So I want to just explain how the category block view works. Okay? So in the view, there's a lot of different options. So mine happens to display nicely. Again, I don't usually use this tool. I happen to like Olivier's blogger tool better. But when you have leading articles equals 1, in theory, what that means. Okay. This is my first leading article, and it goes across 1 column. Then the other articles are going to be displayed in 2 columns, so that's the 2 columns. If I change that to 1, then all of the articles are just going to go straight down. That's how the category block view works. Okay. Yeah, so you can do 1. Now, we have seen issues of, and again, because we manage so many sites with so much content. Yes?
That may be the problem with the image was float.
When we're floating it to the left?
And then in the options of the image, there's option to clear.
So if you don't clear it?
Yeah.
If you don't clear the image, then it could be messing that up.
Yeah. And if you clear it,
very good. Yeah. See, this is why I have Olivia. Or we just use this tool instead. Anyway, so where was I going? So with the blog view, it's a way to display multiple articles. With the read more that I had you add on, it allows you to do stuff in teaser. Okay? So why don't we change this so it's just 1 column, so all the articles just go straight down, which is kind of better to display, because what you want to think about is technically this display does not look nice on a cell. On a cell phone, it's going to get stacked anyway. So if I change this to 1 column here, hit save, and then I go back to the page and I refresh it. Then in theory, it should go straight down, and I'll have 1 column displayed any day now. Okay?
I can get to that. Yeah, very good column.
Yep. So in the menu items, edit. I want to edit. It's on the blog layout tab. So if there are tabs, you have to edit your menu item, right? click on blog layout. So you want to find the menu items. You want to find golf balls. So you can either do Control F, or you can do it in the search, or scroll down. Yep. Click on it. Got it. Click on the blog tab. The third one. Yep. And then you want to change that to, you can have 1 leading article, 10 intro, and 1 column. Or you can have 0 leading articles and 10 intro. Now you may say, well, Laura, why would I do 1 and then 10 and then only have 1 column? What's the point? In CSS or in your styling, you could create a separate styling for your leading article. So let's say you want, even if you want 1 column going down, maybe your leading article you want to have like a light gray background and everything else to have white. So if you define a 1 in the leading, you can create styles on the back end to say, for the leading, I want it to be a purple background, which I wouldn't recommend, but I'm just saying to get your attention. To like a bright yellow, okay, because it's really important, this article. And then you can have everything else, okay? Go, Mark.
It's okay to do this for 1, but if you have 5 or 6 categories, what the blog layouts to look all the same, and this is something you wouldn't do individually, but you would go to global options and you would set these same things in global options, which is one of the fun things about Joomla is there's more than one place to look at something.
Good, and I'm going to show that right now. I didn't put it in the document, but I'm going to show it. So basically, what he's talking about, global options. So when you create a menu item, when you create an article, Joomla has settings that it assumes you're always going to want. So if you do it in global options, then every time you create a menu item, by default, it will set those for you. Okay? So to find those global options, for category blog view, it's in the article options, which is really hard to find. So I need you to put your thinking caps on for a second. You have to go to Content, Articles. It's weird it's not in the menu options, right? Because category blog is a menu option. But anyway. Yeah. But it's really part of content. I know, I just threw you all off. But it's annoying. Right?
Yeah.
Right? So on the test, Mark, did you take the test yet?
No.
You're going to soon.
No.
Okay, so in articles, content articles, it's so much. Okay, you click on options on the top right. This is where global options are set for content. So when I'm saying content, I'm trying to get you into the Joomla lingo. Content is component content. So what tool is it? Content, articles, categories, things like that. This is where you can set this stuff up. So if I click on, it's blog, right? The blog featured layouts. So if you click on blog featured layouts, this is the default. So whatever I set this stuff to, if I change this, and when I create the menu item, if I leave it blank, it will use these options. So this is the default, okay? The other thing that I mentioned I would show you is it integration? Yes, there it is. Remember I mentioned, so look up here for a second. I just want you to look. You don't have to do this. So if I click here, look at the URL. So the URL says 17-unicorns.html. The word unicorns is coming from the alias of the article, okay, which we talked about before. The 17 is the article ID number. The newer version of Joomla is allowing us to get rid of that number. So how do you get rid of that? Little like trick here is if you go to the article options, you click on integration, and Eddie, I'm starting to do it on Rutgers. I did it for computer science already. If you go to routing and you click on modern, remove IDs from URLs, you click yes. Save and close. Now, I don't recommend you doing this necessarily to a site that existed for 10 years. I don't know. It's going to break, and it's going to screw up your SEO. Mark, my SEO expert.
What I would suggest is if you're going to do this document beforehand, do redirects from all your sites in your it's an HT access file. And then
or you could do redirects.
We use
You could read the redirect component
now that tells you when people are trying to access the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then have well, which is why I wanted to do it And then
I'm giving
have
it a bad
Google
look.
index your site.
So-
700.
What?
Create 700 redirects for a website.
You created 700 redirects for website? That's so sad.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Eddie, I'll put that, that'll be all on you. You like
do
doing
it.
it.
Well, I do them. I do them. I don't know if I like doing them, but I do
You're
them.
so good at it. I just say.
The reason putting in HT access, the problem with that is that when Joomla releases patch, it releases HT access. So then you have to put all your changes.
And then you have to override it.
HT
You have
access.
to do it, you should do it redirect.
We usually
Well,
do
I find
it.
it easier, because then
And
they
then,
say,
yeah, it's easier to do it on HTML.
Yeah.
And it will find a lot before you choose.
right, it'll find, if you turn on, there's a plugin you turn on, you turn the redirect plugin on, it catches the backlinks.
Yeah.
Great, it makes it easy to create a redirect.
So just to catch up those that have no idea what we're talking about. So with the redirects, what that means is if I was originally going, so I just turned this on, right? So now if I go to the site and I refresh this page, see, it should be smart enough to fix it. No, see, it still exists. It does still see it, but, so I don't know. So if I click on read more, and now look at the, how come the 17 still showing? Is it because I didn't clear cache?
Yeah, that's something that if you're developing.
Are you saying I have to save the page?
Yeah.
I didn't save it, sorry guys. Really?
How many times has that happened?
Never. I don't make mistakes. Yeah. Bam. Okay, so you're like, wait a minute, the page worked a second ago. Because of that 17, I took the 17 out. All right? So now, if I go back to my Fantasy Animals page, so I don't recommend you doing this on an old site unless you're prepared to redirect. And what we're talking about the redirects is so that 404 error. So if someone was using your site yesterday, all of a sudden pages are not going to work. And that's a problem. So now if I click on the unicorns, in theory, I should see unicorns.html without that number. Now, if you're building a new site, go for it. Turn it on and just get in the habit of setting it up that way. Because
Go ahead and link and all those sites that I think better.
I'm sure it does, yeah. So this is relatively new, so I do recommend trying this out. No, ask.
On those redirects, you did 700. Did you have to go page to page, or was there a match on the
No, I didn't have to go
Page to
because
page.
it was an old several websites that communicated to one and that all the URL.
Yeah, so I almost want to, if I was going to do it myself, I almost want to download from the database the pages, then put them into Excel, strip off the numbers off the front of them, and then up a little bit again. You can do a bulk rather than do,
You can put them in a text file and do a bulk.
You can do a bulk redirect too. So the redirect, let me show you guys the redirect. So what Mark was asking is that Olivier, yeah, but because now,
And,
yeah,
you know, Laura,
yeah.
there's newcomers here. I'm sorry, I'm kind of derailing your.
It's okay. No, because we did menu items. We're good. They're good. Yeah, we're good. This is important. This is what we're here. So components and redirects, because the redirect concept is confusing. So with redirects, you can do a batch import for redirects. So you can do bulk import, it's called. Okay, so you can do, it's the expired URL with the new URL. And I think you do a pipe, right? A pipe in between each. And that will do a bulk import for you. So it's in components and redirects.
Yeah.
Okay, so in theory, I wonder if the 17, I want to just see something. I don't know if I had that plugin turned on. Yeah, I don't know if it was on. Yeah, look, 17 used. So this was an error, right? So look at this. So that was an error page. Remember when I got the 404 error? It recorded it. So that means if I go here, so I can click on it, and I can enable it, and I could give it the right page. So I'm doing this manually just because it's easier, and I get rid of that 17 and get rid of the dash. and save and close. So now, if I go, so do you guys see where we're going? So basically, if your pages start breaking and people are getting the 4 errors, you got to fix it. Although I hate fixing it. So now, if I put in what we had before, remember when I did before and I did 17 dash? And when I hit that, I got a 404 error. Now, in theory, I should be brought to the correct page, which I was. You see what just happened? So we just fixed it.
Also, if you're a small site, 20 pages or less, you often have a site map on your site.
Yes.
And so you can just manually go through the site map and make sure you then export that file. And
that's right. So, Mark, that's another good point. So, OS Map 3 is a sitemap tool which generates a sitemap of your whole site. Great tool to use. Why don't we install it right now? You've used OS Map, haven't you, or no?
No.
Ooh.
I'm doing the site.
Oh, okay. So let's do it. Let's do it. I got 5 minutes. Okay. Questions so far? I don't want to. Okay. So we created the menu items. We saw the. Okay. Let's do this. So one easy way to install a component. So now I'm kind of going a little faster. For components, you can install a lot of different tools in Joomla. You can install templates, modules, components. So there are some components that are free. And one of them that I know at Rutgers we put on every single site is OS Map Free. So it's a sitemap tool that basically generates a sitemap, which is what you need for Google search engine optimization. You need to submit a sitemap of your website. You got to submit it to Google. That's like a first thing you should be doing on all of your sites. So OS Map Free, to install, we can all do this together. If you go to Extensions, Manage, Install. And I think I have to turn on Web Installer. Let's see if it's by default on. It's on, right? Okay, so does everyone have that installed from Web? So if you go to Extensions and then Installer, and then in the search, type OS Map. It used to be XMAP, right, Eddie? It was XMAP,
yeah.
So CVerge company is OS Training, which is now Joomla Shack, by the way. He took XMAP, the tool, and kind of rebuilt it since it wasn't being supported anymore. So he brought it under OS Training. So OS Map. Why are there so many? Oh, okay. So you want the first one, OS Map. I think if we just click on it. Here we go. So if you click on it, and then hit, where do I go to install it? There we go, install. Does anyone not see this install button? Anyone? Okay. So I can hit install for OS Map, and I can install it. So Stuart, as you can see, with this launch set, you can install everything. You have the complete cPanel. You have the database, everything. So it's not what we did with it 4 years ago. Right? That free Joomla thing that was pretty bad.
This was a plugin.
This was a plugin.
So now we have
I'm sorry, it's a component. It's a component, yeah. But he has plugins for it. So now if I go to Components and OS Map Free, I'll wait for everybody.
Question you don't want to link to your original live directory, right? Like if you're changing the website.
This is not viewable by Google unless you tell Google where this is sitting.
Right, if you're creating a file, you don't want it to have like temporary
Yeah, I would wait. If Google's going to crawl your site, but if you haven't told Google your site exists yet,
yes, no follow, no index.
It's not going to find. You could also unpublish the map, so you can install it and just unpublish the map, and then it wouldn't be able to get to it anyway. Right? I mean, if you unpublish.
And you were submitting, so it's ready.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we usually put it in. Well, we're on development, so we're on a separate server. So anyway, so if you go to default sitemap, I'm going to wait a second. Is everybody here, by the way? I don't want to get lost. So you go to Components and OS Map, and this is exactly what Joomla Camp is supposed to be, where you kind of just run with it. So you know that. Okay, so I click on default sitemap because it's there already. You can create multiple sitemaps if you want. And then for the sitemap, I could select what menu or multiple menus I want it to be associated with. So I'm just going to select main menu. So it's already set. I hit save and close. And then I can create a menu item for this sitemap, okay, which I recommend you do. And it's funny because a lot of my clients will go, I don't want a sitemap on my page. I actually do. You know, and I'll put it like all the way at the bottom, you know, and I'll just say sitemap, and they'll find it. And they'll say, can you remove that, please? I'm like, no, please. Like, you know, and most of my clients want it removed. And I don't know why. And I try to explain to them, but you want, you know, sitemaps are good. You know, what if someone wants to navigate through your site, they don't feel like going through your menu system, they should be able to just click sitemap to see the structure. And I don't know why. Even libraries, they're like, I don't want that sitemap thing there.
It's very slow to work with your client if the site gets large.
I know.
You get them focused, and the structure becomes terrible.
You could show them and say, look,
You can explain.
you're a mess.
That's okay. You want to look crazy. I built a website for guides, and Google indexed it, and he made me have Google unindexed it. After trying to make it see the light of day, I just said,
They don't
you're the boss. Okay.
So to create a menu item, so now we're going to create another menu item, guys. So if you go to menus, main menu, and we're going to create a new menu item, we're just going to put this on the top. We're not going to the, you know, footer menu or anything right now. So if you just click new, and we're going to call this menu sitemap. So as soon as the screen updates, and then after we're done with this, then I'm going to break. So okay, sitemap. So call it sitemap. And for the menu type, click on select. I'm just going to wait till everyone's here. You want to click OS map free. Select the HTML format of the sitemap. And Stuart, it's a great idea because, Mark, what you were saying about getting all the links, this is perfect because this is, if you do this before turning on the modern, this is your list. Now, the only thing, though, is what it's not going to catch, well, unless you have the articles turned on. So you can have content for articles turned on, so it'll also show you all the articles within every category. So it actually will show you everything, all the aliases that exist. So now from here, if you click on change and select the sitemap, default sitemap, and I haven't seen, I mean, I love supporting Joomla Shack, but for this tool, I mean, we haven't had any need to go to the pro level for this. So, what? J sitemap is good too? Okay, so J sitemap's another one. So if you just hit save and close, and then you refresh your page, to the right of whatever menu item you had before, in theory, there should be a sitemap menu item. There it is. I don't necessarily recommend putting it in the main menu, you know, like that. That looks kind of silly. I would put it like on a footer menu or something.
Yeah.
But look, there we go. And I have all of the content as well. So if I scroll down and I can see fantasy animals, see how it'll show these, even if I don't have menu items for each. So it shows it. Okay. Now, one other note with sitemap, if you don't like this stuff displaying and you only want the menu items, there's an option in sitemap. So if you go back to components and OS map free, you can click on extensions and you could turn off the content. So Mark, you would want the content on so you have all the aliases, but if I go to extensions, I could turn that off. So it only shows the menu items. So I unpublish that. And then when I review this again, so remember, so initially it has these three, because these are articles in this category, right? I had a category blog, and it shows all the articles. So that way I see all the links that exist on my site. So if I refresh my page now, those will all go away. And it's only going to show the menu items, because I turned that off in extensions. So that's just another. See, now, fantasy, it doesn't have anything underneath. So it depends on what you're trying to build. Okay? So that was good. We did a concept.
Then you go to Google, to Microsoft,
And then you
this is the page for the sitemap, and that's how you expect to do it.
Yep. And you can also grab the link from here as well. So if you're in Google and you want to submit it, when you're in OS Map, you can actually grab the link. Even if you don't have a link on your menu, you don't have to have a link on the menu to submit it to Google. So to submit to Google, you could grab these links right here. So Google wants the XML, so you could go here and I could copy that URL, and this is public. So I could grab this, and that's the code that I would give to Google, because this is the XML map. This is what Google wants to see.
If you submit a site, how much do they ignore things you don't have on your site? Can you use it as a relay things, or they have to discover things not on your site now? Still
Oh, yeah, they can several sorts of.
Google finds
PDFs up there with no links that they can.
Google finds everything.
Your site maps, most site maps are out of date anyway.
Yeah.
Submit it. You just submit it early on after launching so it gets listed faster.
Right.
And then they crawl your site up and they can upload.
And what's nice, I mean, this is a dynamic sitemap anyway. So as you add articles, it's going to change. So every time they look at this URL, it's going to be adjusted.
So it's a way to make sure they see things you want seen. In addition, they're going to do whatever they want.
They are, yes.
If you want something not to be seen by them, you have to do a no follow.
Right.
And looking at this.
No index.
On the section. On the whole site.
Is there a way to take things down that they previously seen? I think
Next time they crawl.
It's supposedly, you can resubmit your sitemap. So Stuart had a good question. We have this at Rutgers all the time. So, you know, if let's say an event that happened and they no longer want that to get searched or picked up, it's hard to undo it from Google. Because even when we unpublish the articles and resubmit it, but we have sent Google, like, there's a page in Google to undo it.
Yeah.
We've actually manually had to do that for some URLs. Like, let's say a professor leaves for university or something like that.
Then you can say the Google which tells the person what
that it no longer exists.
That person.
Yeah, but I think even when we've done that, we still had to, because Big Cara, like, we had some stuff where we had to then go to the next step. So. So let me just do like a quick recap, okay? Because I know it's time. We got to break for lunch, and I want to get started up again at 1:30. So just as a quick summary, we used the launch.joomla.org to build your site, okay? We created a category. You created articles. You created menu items. The menu items point to anything you want. It could point to an article. It could point to a category. Again, I didn't even touch the surface here, but this is just to do enough to get you in trouble. I will send everybody a link to a couple of documents. So this is just the intro. It's something that actually Eddie and I have used when we teach the intro over at Rutgers. But also I have a couple of different levels, like part 1, part 2, part 3, advanced content. So I'm going to upload all of that where you can access it. You can print it out. You can go through it yourself and try it. The best way to learn this stuff is to screw it up and to break your pages, to break your images and get 404 errors, and then you learn how to fix it. And again, we just touched the surface today. And if there's an interest and enough people want a second level of this class, I have no problem in the summer and the fall doing this class again as a part 2. And I know a lot of you are already advanced users, but even just maybe some stuff you didn't hear of before. And I have no problem doing that as a part 2 if people were interested. I would do that. But right now, I want to break. I have some sandwiches, just small little sandwiches, some hummus, some salad, whatever, for anybody that wants. At 1:30, we're going to start up again. For anybody that's coming, we have some new people that are going to come. The second half, we'll do introductions. And then we're going to connect with Victor over in Germany. He's going to present. So, any questions? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, thank you guys. All right, so let me just grab the sandwiches. I got to hit pause for my record. Yes, I'm going to stop the recording.